You know, it's like it doesn't matter. They have a problem. They have a mental disorder that has developed along the lines of that problem, whether it's sexual, gambling, food, and they need help to deal with it. It's not going to go away. It's not a phase. Stealing is not a phase. Lying is not a phase. You understand? Manipulating is not a phase. Hurting other kids is not a phase. It's a problem. You know, using drugs and alcohol is a problem. You know, when you use it to fix yourself. When you take alcohol and you're drinking it because you want to get home and you want to relax, I got news for you. Alcohol is not for relaxing. It's not what it's for. It's not what it was made for. Alcohol is, it's a social lubricant. It's to go out there and let you, socialize with one or two drinks. But people say, oh, I go home and have 5 scotches to relax. And I do this 365 days a year. I'll do the math. You know what I'm saying? You're doing 5 scotches, it's 35 a week. That's 70 every 2 weeks. And on the math goes. But a social drinker is somebody who has 1 or 2 drinks a month. 1 or 2 drinks a month is a social drinker. That's what the definition is. And they never look for alcohol. They only see it and they have it because it's there. They don't go out looking for it. They don't go to a party and they stand by the bar like, all right, I'm at the party now. I got the bar next to me. The bar's not going anywhere. They got it surrounded. It's like 5 guys around it. It's like surrounded. It's like, that's not a social drinker. But we teach this to our kids and then we want them to do different. We lie to our kids and then we want them to do different. I had a kid in my office one time and I'm doing an evaluation and the father's in there giving a sermon, he's on the mound and he's giving a sermon to this kid about lying and about cheating and about stealing and he's going off. And then all of a sudden in the middle of the lecture the kid goes, hey Dad, what about Andrew? And the dad goes, what are you talking about? What do you mean Andrew? He goes, yeah, and Andrew, remember that claim that you filed with the insurance company that you put $150,000 worth of damage? You only had $20,000 worth of damage, and then they bragged about it. They talked about it in front of everybody. They did this, they do this, they get a scratch on their car and they file, $5,000 and they talk about it. The kid was 5 years old when Andrew happened. And the parent thought, he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know anything from Adam. Well, I got news for you, they do know. They do understand. They may not have the language to confront you. Cognitively, they may not be able to put it together, but then that information comes later on. And then they're like, you can't do this and tell your kid to do that. Like I said, if you want to fail as a parent, don't tell a kid, do as I say, not as I do. But he don't care about what you say. It makes no difference what you say. That's why they say a picture's worth 1,000,000 words. You understand? One action that you take, one lie, and we're human, we make mistakes, but take responsibility for it. If you lie to your kid, tell him, if he catches you, tell him, I lied. I made a mistake, I'm sorry, But don't go out there and do these things and expect them to do different. You have to, as a parent, understand what the consequences are. And the consequences are your child will pay dearly for this.
A few months ago, I was at a parking lot down in Key Biscayne, and I backed up, and I ran into a brand new BMW. Oh. Brand new. Nobody else around.
Where you parked today?
Across the street.
Okay.
No, but it was we were doing a coastal cleanup thing. We try to lead by example.
Right.
And so there was nobody around, but my kid was around. He was in the back seat.
Good point.
And my wife is around. And more importantly, I couldn't live with that.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of people, oh man, did anybody see me?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
My first thought was, oh my gosh, I got to go and leave a note.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. I went and left a note and I said, I'm real sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, I have Geico. And they, and that little green guy came out. But the lady said to me, and I showed this letter to my son, the email.
Mm-hmm.
She said, it was so great that I can't thank you enough. She said, so many people would have just taken off. And I called her after it was over. I said, was everything taken care of to your satisfaction? Is everything cool? She said, yes, it was. So I showed that to my son. He didn't say much, but I know he saw.
Yeah, and the lesson is very incredibly valuable. That lesson will come back to him time and time again for the rest of his life. If you would have walked away and if you wouldn't have said anything, that lesson would have come back to him also.
I'm sure.
And I think this is something that we as parents have to understand, is that it could be little things. You know, we may be angry at a spouse, or we may be tired from work. You know, we act a certain way, and we're not perfect, we make mistakes. But, you know, if the kid calls us on it, you know, take responsibility for it. Because I see a lot of parents, no, shut up, I don't want to hear it. You know, it's like, he may be 5, but I got news for you. He's like a recorder. Everything is going to be
Take it
recorded,
over.
you know, and sooner or later, something's going to come up, and it's going to.
And it really doesn't matter what you say a lot of times. It doesn't matter.
Well, like I said, I think that doing something about it, you know, it's like, you know, when you hurt somebody, it's like, oh, I'm sorry. Well, that's great. That's a good start, you know. But it doesn't mean that you're done. Now you have to go and you have to make an amends and you have to make it right. Like you said, you know, hey, it's everything cool. Is your car right?
Yeah.
What else can I do?
Or I want to just share with all of you, I read an article regarding texting and sleeping deprivation. And it's something that is creating a lot of anxiety among kids because actually they're sleeping with their phones. And sometimes at 3 o'clock, someone that is crazy is answering, and they feel the urge to be able to immediately respond. And if they don't respond, they don't feel that they're part of the engagement of what's going on with society. So the reality, the way to be able to resolve this in the article is actually you need to take the phones away from your kids at night. It's the only way. You need to be able to really put the phones away. When you said that the time to sleep is at 10 o'clock at night, the phone is away, and you turn it in the next day in the morning. If you don't do that, they're sleeping with phones, and they're actually texting, and it becomes a habit. And the only way that you're going to break that habit is by, unfortunately, is that you need to be disciplined with them. And you can, and the moment that you decide, look, and all my kids have grown up and they're, thanks God, been very good kids. But at one point in time, you know, I had 2 kids that were anorexic. And I know what it is to live with anorexia. You were the first denial, everyone's in denial, and until you don't tackle the problem and you take the kids into a hospital and into be taken care of, you're not going to be able to break the cycle. So all I'm trying to tell you is that with sleep deprivation is a major issue right now in our teenagers. And if you don't take the phones away by 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night, and you give them back again to them at 8 o'clock in the morning, or 7 in the morning when they're going back to school, because they're teenagers and they need their tools, you don't want to resolve the problem. Because actually you don't want to be policing them all the time. And believe me, they will find an extra battery, an extra charger. So you need to really take the phone.
Take the phone away.
Okay, so I'm just telling you because, and I have seen there is a difference. You know, even with I have 4 kids, it's all in their